Welcome back to Wings Geo. So, here we are, a little bit over 1 year since I somewhat impulse bought the Moto Guzzi V85. It has definitely been an interesting journey when it comes to this Italian friend, although I will say that I'm more than surprised that reliability-wise, after 1 year and almost 3,000 miles on the clock, I had zero issues concerning any form of mechanical defects or breakdowns. And yes, that number is zero, zilch, null, nada. I mean, absolute nothing to report here. The biggest blunder happened during the first service when the computers at Piaggio in Italy were not cooperating to provide a required software update. But you can't hardly fault the bike for that. As I mentioned in the beginning, the purchase was somewhat of an impulse buy. Blame it on its very unique looks, old school engineering, with just enough modern touches that I just could not resist. What followed was an on and sometimes off love affair with this motorcycle, as it took time to discover what it was truly meant for from the factory, and spoiler alert, as usual, the marketing hype was just that. But then there's also the fact that with the right modifications, the V85 could become very close to what I envisioned her to be. I guess you could say that for any motorcycle, but this is where the undeniable Guzzi charm comes into play, at least in my case. What I was personally looking for was a good all-arounder concerning comfort, performance and livability that was able to operate on and off-road with focus more towards off-road. And yes, I already hear you say, should have bought, I don't know, a Yamaha Tenere T7, as it seems to be the answer more often than not. But I did not know any better at that time, and again, there was this undeniable charm. Damn you, Moto Guzzi. As I have been diving more and more into the ADV world, it became very clear that in case of the V85, I should have watched less of the marketing videos and be more focused on the cold hard facts. Which said, this is an amazing travel machine on road, capable of gravel and fire roads, but leave the gnarly stuff to the T7 or even lighter bikes. Which now brings me to its biggest flaw, at least for me, and that is its weight. Perfectly fine for on-road travel, but really not ideal for off-road activities that I had in mind. If you followed my channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But then again, every time I was ready to throw the towel, a new mod popped up on my radar, and so I kept on improving the V85 more and more towards my liking as an everyday travel companion. The end result after 1 year is that I now have the bike exactly sorted out the way I imagined what this bike could be for me, except the off-road aspirations. We leave that to the lighter bikes, and yes, I'm in love once again. Sometimes it was little mods like the pivot packs that made a huge difference, but sometimes it was a somewhat bigger undertaking, time and financial wise, like the complete elimination of the stock exhaust that led to the stage the bike is in now. If there is something I would call Moto Guzzi out on, it is the fact that these bikes are proudly hand-built, and it is supposedly showing. My initial impressions was just that, but the deeper I dove into the bike, the more I realized that being hand-built still meant strip bolts from the factory and the use of very cheap materials that really should not have been on the bike in the first place. Yes, I'm talking about you, flimsy bash plate and heat shields. I am not sure if Triumphs are hand-built, but when I purchased recently the Baby GS, the dealer happened to sell Triumphs as well, and let me tell you, concerning fit and finish, from what I could see, they are on another level at the moment. Color me impressed. But let's get back on topic here. Besides my nitpickings, I have no regret buying the V85, even though it is not the kind of bike I really needed for what I had in mind. I know I'm repeating myself here and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but the V85 seems to have a spell on me. I will leave you with this. Every time I walk away from it, I stop, turn around, and just gaze on her stance and beautiful lines. How many motorcycles do you know that have that kind of effect on you? Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.